The leaks for chapter 345 has dropped, and this just changed everything. In this video, we see the blue lockers honestly entering flow state as they become super sick. But I know you guys don't like being spoiled, so you will have to wait to know more. However, trust me, as the ending after that is just insane. But so as not to waste any time, let's get right into it. Alright, so the chapter starts with the text saying, "Dyed in the color of rebellion, Isagi stands in Hugo's way." After that, we get back to when Isagi was the GOAT. As in the previous chapter, he managed to steal away the ball from Hugo and also got into his white-like state. Anyway, it then seems like we get into his head as he thinks that he can feel an unfathomable surge of concentration. Hugo, on the other hand, just looks right at Isagi and explains that his expression changed. However, after that it seems like we stick with Hugo for a while, as he is far from finished. He starts to wonder about how he even managed to intercept the ball. He thinks that he realized that he wouldn't be able to score with the current attack. That's why he waited for the rebound, which, to be honest, is pretty smart. After that, we get a real close-up to Hugo's eyes, as he has got his meta vision out, and thinks that in any case, it's too far for a shot from here, wondering whether he will go forward with dribbling, or if he will pass the ball vertically to 3 players in the offensive line. With that, we also see Baru, Shidu, and Rin, all 3 of them staring right at Isagi. Anyhow, Hugo then speaks up as he is this time the one to stare right at Isagi as he asks him to come here, wondering which fate that he will choose. And we see Isagi advancing right to him. However, just then, something rather shocking happens, as just when Isagi is extremely close by Hugo, he decides to pass the ball sideways, which Hugo himself seems a bit lost about, probably wondering if he has lost it or what is going on. But don't you guys worry, as the one that the ball lands with is Karasu, who gets the ball served right to his feet. But still, he is just like Hugo and seems to be extremely lost and confused by what Isagi just did. However, as he looks Isagi right in his eyes, he feels a chilling sensation as he looks dead at him, telling him to come on and go as he calls Karasu comrade number 2, and this is actually insane. We then see Gagamaru, who somehow, all the way from the goal, sees what happens as he sounds super surprised. He is then followed up by Aiku, who wonders if Isagi is actually serious now. And lastly, we have Hiyori, of course, who questions if Isagi is collaborating with Karasu right now. To be fully fair, even though I think that it's cool, it was the thing that I expected least to happen. But we then see his puzzle pieces starting to move around as he runs up on the field, and it sounds like everyone's collective thought is a question, wondering whether he is going to break into the system built around Karasu. With that, we finally move on to the second main man in this scenario, who is Karasu. Now Karasu starts to get a real devious smirk towards Isagi, as he asks if the Demon King himself has submitted to him now. Karasu then, in the middle of the match, goes for the flirting approach, as he tells Isagi that he has a cute side to him, which, to be honest, whatever gets the goal right. Anyway, he also tells him to fight on and calls him Extraordinary Number 2, as I guess that Hiyori is his Extraordinary Number 1, since he is always calling Hiyori that. But with that said and out of the way, we do see them going pretty wild on the pitch, as Isagi, as previously mentioned, passed to Karasu. But that wasn't all, as Karasu then passed back to Isagi, who had sprinted ahead of Hugo. Then Karasu himself sprinted up and got behind Charles, where Isagi then sent him another pass. We then see Charles, who asks if they are doing wall fighting right here. Layden also joins in as he tells them to wait a minute as he starts to begin to panic. Lastly, we do have Gabin, who tells the team to react to the situation and to improvise, telling them to beware of Isagi's and Karasu's breakthrough in the center. With that out of the way, we do move back to one of the blue lockers, and that person is Rin, who actually seems to be furious. He looks back at Isagi and says his name. He thinks that Isagi decided that he couldn't pull off a combination with him, and because of that, he switched to Karasu. Rin's eyes then start to get super distorted, and it looks like they're starting to become like how they were against Sei in the U20 match, as Rin ends it by saying that he discarded him. Hey, it's Natsu mid-editing here, and I just wanted to pause the video to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already, and while you're already down there, why not leave a like as well? Now, I don't want to be that guy, but I actually do feel a bit sad about Rin. Like, he and Isagi are supposed to be boys, but I do understand it. Anyway, while on that panel, we also see that it's only 2 minutes on the clock, which I feel is kind of insane. Just like one chapter ago, it was 15 minutes, and I don't know why they seem to be rushing it. Moving on, we get to the bench where we see Bachira and Chigiri. Bachira screams at them to settle it, telling them that it's the last chance, and Chigiri joins in as he tells everyone to push up and to go and get them. We also see the commentator, who says that now all that remains is around 2 minutes. he asks if France, the reigning champions, will escape with the win. Or maybe, just maybe, will the challengers, Blue Lock Japan, catch up? After that, we get back to Isagi, who has his stalker Hugo running right behind him. He gets on Isagi's side and tells him that he has been waiting for this moment. After that, I'm unsure who says this, whether it's Hugo or Isagi, but we will go with Hugo. He tells Isagi that it was fate to commit to being the team's number 2. We then see Hugo looking super intensely right up at the pitch as he asks Isagi if he understands why he has been trying to guide him and Japan this whole way as a matter of aptitude. Hugo then continues with his yapping as he says that his dream is winning the World Cup 4 times. To do that, France needs to keep leveling up by fighting strong rivals. In other words, he needs all the footballers of the world to become his fate. And I can't even sit here and lie, but that's so extremely cool. After that, Hugo starts to transform into his Metal Gear state as he starts to look insane. However, he does in fact tell Japan that they have passed, telling them that now, with a 100% compatibility match between them, let fate decide the optimal conclusion. And I know that I might be glazing him a lot, but Hugo is truly the Socrates of our time, while Isagi just looks at him and kind of side-eyes him. Anyway, with that, we then get back to Karasu, who currently is in control of the ball. However, he sends it away to Hiyori. Hiyori traps it with no trouble at all, as he then sends it to Isagi, who, just like Hiyori, gets it flawlessly before he, this time, gives it over to Otoya. Otoya then sees Karasu sneaking up, so he sends him a pass. With Karasu now being back with control of the ball, he looks around and spots Isagi, so he gives him a killer pass. Isagi, as the goat that he is, gets it, but after that he right away sends it over to Karasu again, and not gonna lie, but their passing game is on point. We then head into Hiyori's brain. As he's looking at all of this, he explains that Blue Lock is breaking into a new dimension, and he admits that it truly is amazing, thinking that with Isagi doing the same kind of linking as Karasu, they have reached a new high. After that, however, we go back to Karasu, who we can see is steaming up on the field. He then speaks up and says that here it comes, calling out to the extraordinary. Karasu then gives Hiyori the ball, but it seems to shock him a bit. Thinking that the switch happens here, he thinks that it's 26 meters to the goal, but just then he sees Karasu right in front of him, and it's just like his first goal, and with that in mind, he knows very well that he can shoot, as he for a fact knows that it's the same shooting chance as the first goal. But that's also a lie, as it's even better than before, because now he can even pass to Shido as well. Baru works on top of that. He thinks that they now have tons of scoring options and says that it's the ultimate situation that Karasu created. We then have Karasu right in front of him with a super smug expression as he tells him to come on and to choose. We then move back to Hiyori, who thinks about what his best option is. However, just then, we see Hugo going to Baru and telling him that he won't let him away and that he is going down. This is then followed up by Charles, who decides to go over to Shido and try to stop him. Lastly, we then have Loki, who tells them that this is correct, saying that even if his options have increased, in the end, if he erases each individual goal pattern, then it's checkmate. With that, we see Loki looking almost possessed as he is running right to him as he calls them a bunch of stray egoists. We see Karasu being visibly shocked by this, and not only him, but also Hiyori, as he calls it, no way, saying that Loki, Hugo and Charles, each with their own individual abilities and with their instant judgment, came to crush Hiyori in coordination. He starts to begin to doubt himself as he thinks that the level is too high, but he then thinks that if that's true, then he just needs to shoot himself. But just then, he tells himself that it's wrong, and that the shooting lane from before is being guarded, and that it's too narrow now. With that, he knows that it's really not good, and that they are struggling, and before he can think about what to do, we see Loki coming right in front of Hiyori as he tells him that his judgment was too slow. Loki then stares right into Hiyori's soul as he tells him that it's game over. But just then, we see Isagi once again in his white state as he calls out to him. We can see how shocked Hiyori seems to be by seeing him there, but Isagi once again looks right at him with a determined face as he tells him to pass it. However, we do see a small panel of Hugo's eyes, so I'm a bit scared. Anyway, the next issue is going to be called Full Bet, and I just know for a fact that with a title like that, the chapter will be top tier. It then also doesn't look like there will be any break next week. However, that's still a bit unsure from the looks of it, so don't take it too much to heart. Anyway guys, I'm going to be real, as basically just when I fell asleep, the leaks came, so I'm still super tired, so I won't have any long ending thoughts. But my prediction right now, and from this, is that Rin will score. But please let me know down in the comments what you think will happen, as I really want to read them when I have woken up a bit more. Anyway, If you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel. And while you are at it, leave a comment and a like. Also, if you can, hype the video down below as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video that will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.